I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
All right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
Hello, welcome everybody to After Further Review. I am your wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I am your other co-host, Jalen Brown.
Welcome to week 40 of our wonderful show. We give you the latest news on sports. We major in basketball, football. We're like a university, so that's our major right there. We got our doctorates. Don't y'all worry about that.
Yeah, we're very experienced.
Exactly. We are here to cover quite a few things going on in the league right now, especially since the finals are going on.
Correct.
Exactly. Give you a couple football news and opinions later on in the show. God bless me. Anyway,
some refreshments
yeah.
before the show began.
Never forget, follow us on Instagram. We got TikTok going on right now for all you wonderful people. Yeah.
Let's get into the show.
Get into our show. Y'all get excited. We got our first topic of the week coming on here for you. Status of the wonderful NBA Finals. As you all know, we got the wonderful Phoenix versus Milwaukee Bucks here. Game one was
just yesterday.
Yeah. Kind of missed gave y'all game one predictions. Did you give our game one? No.
I don't think we did
because it was
still undecided.
Yeah, undecided by then. But as you can see, Phoenix is up 1-0 on the wonderful Bucks.
Right, which is not too surprising.
No.
Yeah, the first half of that game started off very competitive. It was, for the most part, one possession game for most of it. And in the second half, I think Chris Paul, he used that first half to just kind of feel it out. And he was like, all right, the Bucks ain't about doing nothing tonight, so let me go ahead and take this over. That's what he did, and they just kind of blew out Milwaukee in the second half, and they won comfortably. So it was a pretty, not boring game, but just kind of predictable game. It was like, all right, they're at home. They can do their thing.
I mean,
they took care of their business.
Which I appreciate that. I'm very happy about this outcome because, as you know, I'm not a big fan of Milwaukee really winning this series. So I want Phoenix to work them. Do I necessarily want this to be in 4 games? Probably not. Probably will make it a little more entertaining, go into like 6 games, maybe 7. But at the end of the day, I do want Phoenix to win this series.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for who wins, how many games, and why?
I'd say Phoenix in 6 games, generally because I feel like there's a tad more experience on the Phoenix team, and we all know homeboy needs his ring. He's been in the league way too long. He's got a lot of experience. He's really good, and he really will he realized this is his year. This is his opportunity to get his ring. So I feel like he's gonna make sure that happens. If he has to average 40 points a game, he's gonna make sure he do it.
Yeah, I actually haven't won the same exact 6 games. I originally had 7 up until last night, and I'm like, recalculate my numbers here. Yeah, I feel like Phoenix right now. I really wanted to change it to 4, to be honest, but I'm trying not to be prisoner of the moment. The game was just last night.
Yes.
Let me not get ahead of myself. Phoenix, at the end of the day, they are doing what they're supposed to do. They're holding serve at home. So even if they go up 2-0, it really isn't just like going one way or another until they get to Milwaukee, and then we'll see what happens. But
yeah, if they win a Milwaukee game, the first game in Milwaukee, it probably might actually just go 4 games. And it'd be funny, like we were talking about. All these series in the playoff has gone like 6 or 7 games. Yeah. Now it's going to get to the finals in 4 games, and it's like,
yeah, the second round was amazing, and then it was like, all right, conference finals, wow.
And done.
Yeah, but I just think the Suns are a more complete team. I think they're probably the most complete team in the NBA. Everybody in their starting lineup has a designated role, and they're all very good at it. Chris Paul's the facilitator. He's the quarterback. He can, if they need a bucket, he can create his own shot. But for the most part, he's just handing out dimes and calling out plays. Booker, scorer. That's simple. Case in point. If he needs to bring the ball up, he can. But for the most part, he's just gonna put the ball in the damn hoop. Jay Crowder, he's their sniper, 3-point shooter. DeAndre Ayton is down low. He's not this dude. The big dude is gonna be out jacking up threes. No, he knows his role. He's gonna be down in the paint and dominating. And then you can swap in whoever else they have. If there's Kel Bridges on a certain night, he's gonna be there also just trying to score and rebound the ball. Like, very clear roles on the Phoenix Suns. There is no confusion. There's no stepping on each other's toes. It's a well-oiled machine, and as they're showing right now, probably the best well-oiled machine all of this NBA season. Yes. Yeah, they are honestly a lot of fun to watch. It's cool. Like, they all seem to get along really well. No chemistry problems. But at the end of the day, another big thing of this is health. And Phoenix has remained one of the healthier teams this entire year, and that plays a big role. Ask Brooklyn, ask LA, ask Atlanta, ask the other LA team, ask pretty much everybody. Every
other team, even the Bucks to a degree.
Ask Milwaukee.
See, that's my thing. The Bucks are a very one-dimensional team. I say that as they're in the finals, but I feel like they've faced a lot of unprepared teams. A lot of Heat, unfortunately, as much as I love them, very unprepared team for what the challenges. Right. A lot of broken teams.
Yes.
The Nets,
Atlanta.
So it's kind of like this is their first true fully healthy team that's fully prepared and ready, has a game plan, and it clear as game one. They're gonna get a run for their money, and it's up to them to be like, hey, can we step up to this challenge of playing a fully healthy team? That's
right. Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're gonna do now. The funny thing is, Coach Bud, I give him a hard time in this show. I'm going to continue to do that because he deserves it, in my opinion. He is not the man to make adjustments. He's a phenomenal regular season coach, which he's shown year after year after year. But as soon as they get to the playoffs, he just refuses to make adjustments, and that's what the playoffs is all about. If you're playing somebody, up to 7 times, you can't just keep doing the same thing over and over.
They figure it out by game 2.
Yeah, you're right. You're going to get figured out. Everybody knows what the other team is running, which is why coaching is a huge factor in the postseason, because you got to make adjustments and switch it up, which he has failed to do for several years in a row now, and he's kind of showing it again this season. We'll see if somehow he breaks out of this habit magically in the finals, but I wouldn't put any money on it. Yeah. And then, of course, like I was saying, on the health side, Giannis, he looked good last night. He's back from his knee hyperextension or whatever it was.
Take a break for a couple games. Make it clear.
I did want to point out the two teams that are in the finals, though, no load management. They weren't those teams like the Clippers, the Lakers, the Nets, who did all this. Not really the Lakers, but a lot of the Clippers and the Nets, who did all of that overload of load management. All right, Kawhi's taking the night off, Paul George's taking the night off, KD's taking the night off, Harden. None of that. They all played. If they were healthy, they played. And it was as simple as that. And wow, look at that. They made their way to the finals.
Yes. I'm seeing these teams, these are two teams that 99.9% of the population would not have seen as a matchup in the finals. Mm-hmm. Are you excited and happy to see the non-Lakers and non-Cleveland and non-Golden State in the finals?
I am with 1,000% extremely happy to see these two smaller markets, because going into this season, most people would not be able to predict Milwaukee and Phoenix being in the championship series. So I am, without a doubt, happy. I know that a bunch of other people probably aren't too happy. They want to see Durant. They want to see Bron. They want to see Curry, which I understand that. It is a different feel not having the usual drama, because there isn't much drama involved with this outside of Chris Paul just trying to get that ring.
Mm-hmm. And Giannis still playing the same style of basketball, which apparently working.
Right. I want to touch on that real quick before we go into the market thing. Giannis This is his first game back after a few games out. Did you notice? This is gonna sound sacrilegious and blasphemous. Did you notice the Bucks seems to be playing better basketball when he was not on the floor?
Yeah, it's because they're forced to not play around Giannis. They're forced to actually play
Right.
basketball and actually come up with other ways
yes.
of playing. Now that the Giannis, like, you just go back to feeding him the ball.
There was in the Atlanta series, after one of the games, Brook Lopez was like, we had a lot of fun playing tonight. And it was like, do you not usually have fun?
Yes.
It's clear that because usually Milwaukee's offense, give the ball to Giannis, he's going to dribble the air out of the ball for 20 seconds. If he can't come up with something, he's going to pass it out real quick, and somebody's got to jack up a three at the last
Picture
second.
that is this. Picture you have a badass kid in class who's always making a ruckus, so the class by default is always usually bad. Let's say he gets 2 weeks suspension out of school. For some reason, that class is behaving better because he's not there. Then that 2 week suspension is done, and he comes back to class, and all of a sudden the drama starts back up again.
Dante's back.
Exactly. That is Giannis on a whole. Unfortunately by default because he's there.
All right, I'm not trying to say that they're necessarily better without him, but
They
just their style of play frees them up much more when you don't have this black hole to throw the ball into and pray that, points come out of it.
Yes.
Now it's like everybody can get involved with a full shot clock and not scrambling to jack up some crazy shot with 2 seconds left. So just kind of wanted to point that out. I don't know what the solution to that is. I have no idea, but would just like to mention that. Anyway, going back to the market thing. Yeah, I do think it is a good thing long term for the NBA to have all these new faces and teams in it. Because now come next year and the following years, but at the bare minimum next year, it'll be cool to watch a regular season Suns game because now
You're capable of winning.
Right. The Bucks have been obviously great these last few years, so there's not too much difference there. Also brings in a whole new slew of NBA fans. People in Phoenix now are buzzing all over. They're buying jerseys. Excuse me, I just slapped my mic. They're buying jerseys. They're
Can I
going
tell you
to
that's the
games.
one thing I hate? I hate the fact that, let's say, when's the last time you saw a Jacksonville jersey out in public?
I couldn't tell you.
Exactly, but all of a sudden when they had that one good season, abundance. Dude, I hate that the most. People do not rep their jerseys when their team are doing absolutely garbage. But they have one good season, you are
There,
swimming.
baby. You can't not notice them.
Exactly. It's like, why? Why can you be this abundant when your team is doing bad?
Right. I 1,000%.
Fair weather fans.
Yeah, it is kind of just like Tampa did have a lot of Bucks fans. Tampa was down since day one, but there were a slew of some bandwagon fans when the Bucks were doing well this
As
year.
soon as Brady said he's coming to Tampa Bay, a lot of people start talking the
Yes.
most trash. It's like,
Yes.
calm down.
I'm not Tampa fans. I'm not trying to give y'all any crap right now, but there are always that percentage.
Exactly. The people that are taking offense to these comments are the people we're talking to,
Yes,
unfortunately.
right. If we're stepping on your toes, say ouch. But anyway, yeah, I do see the argument of when people are like, well, it's not good because it repels people away who want to see the stars. They want to see LeBron in the finals. They want to see Kawhi and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. It's like, I understand that, but that's to me a short-term mindset because they'll be back next year. Not like they just retired. They will be back. And at the same time, it's only good because it's like, all right, now people are going to want to see more Devin Booker, more, dare I say, Chris Middleton. They want to see more DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, campaign, like all these new people that most of us would have never really recognized until this playoffs has come around.
if anything, those of you who ride
Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Those of you who ride the
That was Chris
stars,
Middleton.
who ride the stars as bandwagon, maybe this will motivate the person you want to watch to be like, "Hey, it ain't guaranteed to make it to the finals or this and that.
there you
I actually
go.
have to come out there and play every game and try my best."
No,
So
I'm not trying to hear
LeBron,
that,
James Harden,
Yeah,
Kevin Durant, all the people who out there, my toe, my pinky toe. If you get out there and dribble this ball for the $20 million a year, y'all be getting some of
Yes.
y'all just go. play. People will come out there to watch y'all play. Y'all need to come out. Unless you have some sort of injury that's going to ruin your career or you physically are too much play, you better go out there and play for the people who want to see, who pay good money to sit there and watch you play.
Come on, them tickets are not cheap.
Exactly. Even then, people will be out there paying for cable, bootlegging some off stream to watch y'all play, risking their life.
I got to click through 24 X's to get to this damn stream.
You better be out there playing.
Yeah, it just kind of does go to show. This whole load management fairy tale is all just this big fugazi thing of like, is it really working when you look at the two teams that made it all the way?
No, just play.
Or they played the whole year.
Play the game, the basketball. The science has come down to the amount of games that you can play and be good. Just play the game.
Right. Just if you get hurt, then you get hurt. But clearly, the load management ain't gonna save you from getting hurt. No. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it. I think that brings us to our next subject, which really isn't basketball. We're moving on to a little bit of side football subject. We did this last week. We are now breaking down the NFC East. I mean, East. East.
There's a subtle slip up.
Subtle slip up. We are breaking down these 4 teams' schedule and the likelihood of who's to come out on top of this division. Which this division doesn't matter who's on top.
Is anybody really on top of the end?
No, not at all. It is the best loser, as Jay-Z says in a song, which is kind of insensitive. The tallest little person out of of the group. It's like, what do you really benefit out of?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that. I remember that specific part of that line. I'm trying to remember the rest of it. It was like, I see what you're saying.
Yes. It's like, all right.
It's like we're debating who's the tallest little person. Well, we'll rank each team's offseason moves first, and then we'll go into the schedules, which will equal how they will playoff picture look for the NFC East. We'll start with the offseason moves first. Right off the bat, let me just put it out there. Washington, to me, y'all had the most uninteresting offseason.
I probably have the most uninteresting season, to be honest with you.
I know there's been a good chunk of people saying that Washington had a good offseason. I don't see that. I'm sorry. They moved around a bunch of dudes I've never heard of. The most noteworthy signing was them getting Fitzpatrick. He is a great fit for the team. This is a very Fitzpatrick-esque, he'd fit in there like a glove.
He's great number 2.
Right. If you need to rent a quarterback, bring in old Fitzmagic.
Trust me, if there's anybody who's a fan or who knows teams who try to updo a number 2, it's me.
Shaq can spot a good number 2 from a mile away.
Exactly. He's a great number 2, not number 1. Don't get it twisted, okay?
He's a very good temporary option for them right now, and that's Washington in a hole right now. They don't even have a name, folks. Clearly, they don't have any kind of long-term vision for the time being.
There are inner city high schools with the name. We had a committee of 5 people decide a name, and these groups that people paying millions of dollars who can't come up with a name for the past 2 years. I feel like
I don't know what they're dragging their feet on necessarily, but so they got Fitzpatrick. They did get the dude out of Kentucky, Davis. He should be a great linebacker for them, athletic dude. But Washington, at the end of the day, they made a slew of just solid moves. Nothing noteworthy, nothing to make headlines really. But they're just in that rental phase, renting a name, renting a quarterback. That should tell you everything you need to know about Washington right now. So that's my number 4 is the WFT.
I completely agree as that number 4. When your biggest move is a person that has been in a good portion of the NFL and played half the NFL. There's like whole divisions this man has played on every single team in a certain division. It's not.
Yeah. He's almost played in the entire AFC East. Outside of my Patriots, I think he was on every other.
Yeah, and the Patriots are wise enough not to pick this man up. This man is good for a 1 to 2 game burst. If you're a quarterback, if you need to sit him come end season or the beginning of the season, great for 1 or 2 games.
He is the dude where if you need him to win a wild game, he will. If you need him to lose a wild game, he will. He's the same guy.
Just don't expect him to be consistent. You put him out there with your fingers crossed, like,
which one are we getting today?
and usually by the first 3 passes, like, all right.
Well, we know now.
We know now. Unfortunately, you got to stay out there. They put him out there on the Dolphins, but then people's legs are folded up underneath them. No option.
I don't know, but at the same time, Fitzmagic, he might have little to prove now. Remember, he was last time we saw him, he was crying about Tua taking his job.
Yeah,
saying, I didn't even know. I thought they wanted me.
Tua got eyes. All right, we'll put him out there. So I'm sorry.
So Fitzpatrick, he's coming back mad, baby. He's coming angry. Week 1.
This is the same person the Bucks got. Excited about seeing them play. It's like,
yeah, little did y'all know what was coming.
Exactly. That's like being in a bad relationship and then going into a moderately okay one. They're so used to getting beat by Winston so you get Fitzpatrick for 4 games, right?
And then they really busted when a year later Brady comes. It's like going to the supermodel comes.
The Tampa fans were having wet dreams for weeks in their preseason.
Winston Fitzmagic Brady.
What is going on?
This is a joke.
Tampa gods are shining down upon us. Upgrade after upgrade.
Jesus Christ. So we both have Washington number 4. Number 3, who you got number 3, Shaq?
Number 3, I am gonna have to put, I feel like the Giants.
Okay.
The Giants, I feel like another middle of the pack team. They're just still trying to find their way and what's going on. I feel like they really did.
I have a very different take on the Giants, but
you probably put Giants as a number 1.
I did put them in number 1.
I wouldn't have put Giants as number 1.
I'll get to them in a moment.
I feel like Giants will fall precisely where they did last season when it comes to.
Well, they better not, because they're gonna have some real serious decisions to make this time next year.
Should we dissolve a team amongst the league? As soon as Manning left, that should have been a decision.
Dissolve the team. Should every other team get a small piece of this team?
How many teams do we need in New York anyway?
We'll take all 52 men and sprinkle them all over the league.
Exactly. You don't need that many teams in New York.
Do we really need that? It's already 2 other teams here. Do we need
Exactly. Just get rid of the Giants. But yes, the Giants are always and forever be my most unimpressed team. Second most unimpressed team in that division.
Any specific reason why you think they had a bad offseason?
My thing about the Giants is I feel like the Giants just still have that umbrella of people to a degree that still run the Giants.
As far as front office.
Front office. And unfortunately, you can have all the best soldiers you can, but if you still got the bad generals over that, things will go any better.
Yeah, they did just recently add Eli. Now he's hired as player, I forgot, outreach and something else, but he's part of their front office now, which is no big surprise there. But
will that change anything?
For him, probably not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll get to the Giants in a bit, but I do see what you're saying. They are known as football royalty, like them, the Steelers. Yes, you could kind of say the Patriots, when it comes to their ownership, is very historic and they've been around for a while. So they've had their times, and then right now not so much, but I think there's a lot of trust there for them to still make good decisions going forward, which we'll see on both for the Rooney family in Pittsburgh and for the Giants. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, my number 3, I put the Eagles there. They are trying to turn a new page. If you look, Carson Wentz is gone. Alshon Jeffrey's gone. Deshaun Jackson's gone. A lot of the faces of their franchise are now out. So obviously the new guy, Jalen Hurts, is going to be there. He's going to be their starter, and we're going to find out a whole lot about Hurts because he's going to have the whole year to himself, presumably. They did get him a new weapon in Devontae Smith out of Alabama. He should be pretty reliable. I mean, he's an absolute stud. Won the Heisman last year. Also went to Alabama with Jalen Hurts. I think they were there at the same time. I don't know if Hurts left before he got there. I'm not sure. But regardless, there's a Bama connection there. They did bring in Joe Flacco as a backup. If Hurts starts to, go to the wayside, will we see old Joe Flack? I don't know, but I think there's a good chance that we could see him suiting up and coming out. But they made another slew of just kind of solid moves, nothing too crazy for them. The Eagles seem to be in more of a rebuild transition year, so Philly fans don't expect much from your team this year. The only reason I put them above Washington is because I feel like Washington was in a bit more of a position to take a step forward. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. You would think they'd want to build up that momentum, get a damn name, and then also make bigger splashes to try and, continue that playoff run. And they didn't seem to really do any of that.
Nope.
Eagles, they're in a, clearly they're trying to rebuild. So it is what it is with them. They're just trying to one step at a time with them. So, yeah. Moving on to number 2, I just by default I had Dallas at number 2. The Dallas Cowboys, I did consider them as my number 1, but they made some very responsible moves. If I had to use one word to sum up their offseason, responsible, which is crazy coming from the most irresponsible team in the NFL.
The most irresponsible players.
All around. They finally gave Dak that huge bag. He's officially their quarterback of the future. It's no longer this weird dance of, well, they're going to re-sign Dak and give him that big contract. He's there. He's the man now in Dallas. They're obviously their biggest problem last year by far was their defense. They were ranked 28th overall defensively. They hired Dan Quinn from Atlanta. He's now their defensive coordinator. So let's see if he can get that that massive problem under wraps. But Dan Quinn, I don't know. I'm not sure, Dallas. It does seem like a very Dallas move. Like I can already picture him on that sideline when they're getting beaten by 30 points, and he's just standing there with the headset on and his clipboard on his hip, just looking around, and we're like, "Yep, Dan Quinn, you were the answer, right?"
Yeah, I mean, not a good answer.
But yeah, they traded back in the draft and traded picks with the Eagles, which was why you would trade picks with your arch rival is okay, whatever. But they did go out and get Micah Parsons from Penn State. He should be a monster as long as Dan Quinn uses him right. Micah Parsons should be an absolute monster in the NFL. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, they also got Kelvin Joseph for their second pick, so they can improve that god awful secondary. So we'll see how that turns out. So Dallas, they had a good offseason. They improved what needed to be improved, which was primarily the defensive side of the ball, and then finally take care of Dak, which were their two glaring issues. They did that. They didn't try and go get some offensive weapon, which was never the problem to begin with. They did what they should have done responsibly. So Dallas, good job. You did what you should have done.
My number 2, I put the Eagles as number 2. I feel like not too long ago did they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, only 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. So it's not like they're out of the realm of teams that need that much improvement. I think it's just a management of how gameplay and coaching and like they did a couple shuffle around in QBs and everything. I think they did well and good enough. They might have tweaked a little bit of problems they had, and they might be able to get back on top of that division. We keep forgetting that this division, it probably won't take. It's not gonna be some big dramatic move that makes difference between winning. It's gonna be small details, unfortunately, that makes a difference between.
Unfortunately,
yeah. So it's like they don't need to be like redrafted Tom Brady. We could do amazing. No, they just slight adjustments.
Can make a big difference.
Yeah,
I see. So right now, you don't think the Eagles are in a rebuild? Do you think they're more of
a
win now?
Yes, like I said, a couple seasons ago they won a Super Bowl. They just have minor tweaking to go on and doing, and I think they're like just about there to possibly make a decent run, at least in the division, to get themselves into maybe a playoff spot. Will they make it far in playoffs? But
We are on two very different pages when it comes to the Eagles. We're about to see in a second here. We'll get to their schedule.
I mean, if y'all watch more than 30 seconds of the show, y'all know that anything I say just comes out to me. No, I mean the Eagles are gonna be like fourth in the division, have a total of 2.5 wins for the season. It's just.
So who'd you have at? You had Dallas at number one.
Dallas at number one. I feel like they made big adjustments. They're another big caliber team. Granted, they probably have not. They were looking bad, but I feel like they have the capability of being a good team. Just mismanaged. A lot of people can't act right. People who were acting right weren't being rewarded for saying being there and playing good. So as long as they play around the key players, they have the weapons to do well. So that'd be my number one for what's going on there.
Got you. I did put New York as my number one. I have to give the Giants a ton of props. They finally stopped messing around and were like, listen, we have Daniel Jones. We're sick of this rhetoric for the past 2 years that, well, we don't really know if Daniel Jones is any good because the people around him are all trash. So they said, all right, we're going to focus this entire offseason on just improving the weapons around our guy. And we're about to really see if DJ is the man of the future here in New York. So they gave him a bunch of different weapons, which you always got to give the team props when they're like, all right, let's finally go all in, put all of our chips in on our franchise quarterback, and let's see if he's as good as we think he is, and some people around the NFL also think he is. But yeah, they signed Kenny Galladay over from Detroit. He's a great wide receiver. I know he is happy as hell to move from Detroit to New York.
Like most people would be.
Yep, anybody with a sane brain would do that. John Ross III also came over. And they also got Kyle Rudolph from Minnesota. He's a great tight end. So he's got some weapons now. He's got Ross III. He's got Galladay. He's got Rudolph to throw the ball to. They also got Kadarius Toney out of Florida. He's an outstanding playmaker. Very versatile, not your average wide receiver. He can come out of the backfield, punt return, kickoff return. Like, he is a very versatile receiver. To me, he's just kind of like a Swiss Army knife, which is a great addition to New York's offense. But yeah, and then on the defensive side of the ball, they also got Adoree Jackson to help out in the secondary. But the big scorer was, of course, Azeez Ojulari, who they got in the second round of the draft. And he's outstanding coming out of Georgia. I think he's going to be great in the NFL, terrorize a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFC least. Look out Dak, look out Hurts, look out Fitzmagic. Like, I think he's going to be that dude to be reckoned with and really restore that Giants pass rush back to what it kind of used to be back in the day. But yeah, I got to give hats off to the Giants. They had a fantastic offseason, and they've put themselves in that position where it's like, all right, DJ, you really don't have any more excuses now. Let's see if you're really that dude that we blew that first round pick on a couple years ago. So yeah, to me, I had Giants number one. So Shaq, you had Washington number 4. Then you had Giants 3.
Eagles 2, and
Giants,
and the Cowboys 1.
Right. And then I had Washington 4, Philly 3, Dallas 2, New York 1. So, all right, moving into the records. So we're going to go through each team's schedule now, and we're going to figure out what we have predicted for each squad. So, Shaq, I'll let you go first here. We'll just start off with the Giants. So I have their entire schedule pulled up here in front of us, and we're going to just go straight through. And I'm going to – last week I made the mistake of not marking this as I went, so we ran into this conundrum of did they beat them last game? Or yeah, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to mark this down as we go along here. So, all right, week 1, they have Denver at home.
So this is Giants. I say they beat the Denver if they're at home.
That's went for a W there. Then they go to Washington.
They beat Washington. They lose against Atlanta.
Lose at home to Atlanta.
I say they lose. I mean, they win against New Orleans, generally for the fact New Orleans is an awkward phase trying to figure out what's going on. They lose against Dallas.
They lose at Dallas.
They lose against the Rams. They
3 and 3 right now.
Yeah, there's a individual on their channel that's gonna hate this, but they gotta beat Carolina. They gotta lose against Kansas.
Yeah.
They gotta lose against the Raiders.
All right.
They gotta lose against the Bucks.
Okay.
I say they
host the Eagles.
They beat the Eagles. They lose against Miami.
Okay. New York, you're in for a roller coaster ride.
They lose against LA.
Okay.
They lose against Dallas.
All right.
They beat Philly.
Okay.
They beat the Bears. And they beat Washington.
All right. So they sweep Washington and they get swept by Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you have them going. Sorry if I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what, 8 and 9?
8 and 9.
All right. So Shaq has the Giants going 8 and 9. Fair enough. Doesn't sound unreasonable. It sounds fairly likely. So I have the Giants going to Denver, dub. At Washington, L. Hosting Atlanta, dub. At New Orleans, saying L. At Dallas, L. At Rams, L. Home against the Panthers, dub. Sorry, Nori. At Kansas City, L. People, please. Hosting the Raiders, dub. At Tampa, L. Hosting the Eagles, dub. At Miami, L. At Chargers, L. Shaq and I both agree on that one. They host the Cowboys, dub. Go to Philly, dub. At Chicago late in the year, L. And then they they host Washington, dub. So I'm pretty sure I have them splitting both of their divisional games, or all 3 of their divisional games. You know what the hell I'm trying to say. Besides the Eagles, they'll sweep the Eagles, but to Washington and Dallas, they'll split their divisional games. So I have them going also 8 and 9. So there's that. Very roundabout way of saying they will have a game below 500 type of year. All right, we'll move along to, let's just take Dallas next. All right,
Dallas.
They open up against Tampa.
L.
Yep. Way to come on out.
L.
So, at Chargers, also an L. Or were you saying Tampa?
No, Tampa's L. I say they beat the Chargers.
Oh, okay, got you.
I say they beat Philly.
Okay.
Beat Carolina.
Okay, looking good.
Beat the Giants. I say they
Okay.
actually lose to New England.
Thank
I
God.
got a lot of faith in Cam. They're on their bye week. I say they beat Carolina. I mean, this I'm looking too. They lose against Minnesota off for some odd reason. They lose against Minnesota.
That's a Sunday night game on Halloween. A little spooky there. They lose.
Yes. They beat Denver. They beat Atlanta. They lose against Kansas City.
Of course.
They lose against Vegas.
Okay, sorry. One of these games, I was looking at the ticket prices. One of these games for somebody is astronomical against the Raiders. I don't remember why, but anyway, go ahead.
They beat New Orleans. They beat Washington. They beat New York.
There we go, baby.
They beat Washington again. I got faith in Arizona a little bit. I say they lose against Arizona and they beat Philly.
All right. Let me just make sure.
I was like, make sure I'm not contradicting myself.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we don't do that. So you have them. This is the Giants. Sorry, folks. All right, yeah, you do have them losing to them twice. All right, bet. So that should make sense. All right, I'm going to go back to Dallas for Shaq. So you have them going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 7. Fair enough. All right, so for the Cowboys, I've got them, of course, losing to the Bucks. I should put some money on the Dallas to win this game just for the hell of it, because it seems very unlikely that they'll win that game. On the odd chance they do, tickets as low as $411 for that game. Yeehaw. At the Chargers, also have them losing. Home against the Philly Eagles, home against the Carolina Panthers, have them winning both of those games. Sorry, Nori. They can't catch a break. And then they host the Giants, L. They go to my Patriots, no way, also an L. Then Halloween at Minnesota, I also have them beating. I have them losing to the Vikings. They host the Broncos. I say they lose that. Drew Lock pulls one out of his hat and somehow takes down the Cowboys at home. It'll be one of those games where Cowboys fans break their TVs. Falcons, they'll go to Atlanta, win that one. Host Atlanta, win that one. Kansas City is obviously an L. And then the Raiders, they'll beat them. They'll beat the Saints. They will lose to Washington the first time around. They'll beat the Giants. They will then beat Washington the second time around. They will beat Arizona because they simply have to at this point in the season. This is going to be that moment when they're like, all right, you know how the Cowboys like to wait till the very last second to do anything productive. So they'll go on that 3-game winning streak, New York, Washington, Arizona, and kind of lock in their playoff spot, and then they'll lose the last game of the season because that's what they normally do at Philadelphia. So I have 9 and 8, other way around. Yeah, I have them going 9 and 8.
Look at that. We still, to a degree, we are kind of like on that same page of at least a game.
Right, where people will be at. So 9 and 8 for me. Shaq has me going 10 and 7. Moving on to Philly. All right, Shaq, we're going to do Philly right here.
Philly. Philly, I say they lose the first game versus Atlanta. They beat San Fran.
Okay.
They take a fat L to Dallas.
Okay.
They lose against Kansas City. They beat Carolina. Is it bad that I have everything? This is so hard for me.
So far, Shaq has the entire NFC East beating the Panthers.
We'll get to that when we get to the division. I say they lose against the Bucks. They lose against Vegas.
That's the one. $480 to see the Eagles Raiders.
Ridiculous.
Why would I pay a dime to watch the Eagles Raiders? I don't understand the importance of that, but anyway.
They beat Detroit.
Got you.
They lose against LA. They beat Denver. They take an L to New Orleans. What did I have against them against the Giants?
Let's find out really quick. New York. All right, so New York will beat them.
All right, New York beat them. So catch an L. They'll catch an L to New York.
All right, and then the other New York team, they get to stay in New York.
Get to stay in New York, and then they beat the Jets.
There we go.
This is Jets, y'all. I'm sorry. Do I have them beating Washington? I think I have them. I haven't called that. So I have them beating Washington.
For some reason, that time is to be determined. I don't know why that is.
And I think I have the Giants beating them. I'm not quite sure.
On the second time around, let's see. Yeah. You have the Giants sweeping the Eagles.
So they catch another fat L to the E. Yeah, so Giants beat them. They beat Washington, and then they get clapped up by Dallas.
All right. All right, that was Philly.
No, Dallas beats them.
Oh, my bad. Other way around.
Yeah, they get clapped up by Dallas.
Okay. So you have them going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 and 10.
Yep.
For the Eagles. Put that in here.
You can't make it seem like that's not too out of the realm for the Eagles.
I think it is, but I'm about to get into that right now.
Sorry.
There's a lot of red on my sheet here.
Horrible.
All right, Eagles fans. Hey, y'all gonna hate me.
You could literally sum this up in one statement.
It's not looking too bright in my Eagles book. At Atlanta, L. Versus San Francisco, L. At Dallas, L. Versus Kansas City, give me a break. At Carolina, L. At Tampa, or it doesn't matter if you're home or away. Tampa, L. Vegas, L.
Boat somewhere.
Detroit, L. Chargers, L. Denver, L. New Orleans, L. New York, L. Washington, L. New York again, L. You'll finish out the last 2 games of your season by ruining your draft chances and winning the last 2
So catching
games.
another L all together.
I'm sorry, I only have y'all winning 2 games this season.
The last 2 games only to spot yourselves.
You will screw yourselves out of the first round pick.
Cut my nose off to spot my face. Kind of thing.
I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. They're going to go try and get a quarterback because they're going to want to shoot Hurts into the fucking sun come the end of this year. And all of Philly will want to do that if you ask me. All right, Washington finishes one out with the, well, they don't have a name, so I don't know what to call them outside of Washington. All right, Shaq. Washington's schedule is as follows.
Jesus. All right. L against LA. I'm sure I have them catching L to New York. L to Buffalo. L to Atlanta. L to New Orleans. L to Kansas City. L to Green Bay. They win against Denver for some godforsaken reason. They motivated from week. Then L to Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, North, but you can't catch a break. They win against Carolina.
Literally, has the entire NFC East running through the Panthers.
Like a cheap. Yep. L to Seattle.
Jesus. Washington.
L to Las Vegas. L to Dallas. I think I have them catching L to the Eagles.
Let's check real quick. Eagles first time around. Or, sorry, Washington. Yeah, you have them beating the first time around.
So did they win against?
They will lose the first meeting. You have them beating the second time around.
Okay, so Dallas. L to Dallas. And they win against the second time to face, like you said.
Right.
And they beat New York. So I have them winning a total of 3 games.
Let me check New York real quick. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Morgan and Ryan Brown, but I have never been faithful in your team despite what they did last season. I think their head's going to be way too big for what they actually have going on. And unfortunately, it's going to be the downfall. They're going to be very humbled very fast in the season.
Yeah, that's Washington fans. You can take that up with Shaq. Philly fans, you can take it with me.
Please do. You know where the chat is.
Yep. All right, last but not least, for Washington, I have losing to the Chargers first game of the season. New York, the Giants have them beating them. At Buffalo, come on, let's get serious. All right, at Atlanta, dub. New Orleans, dub. Kansas City, L. Green Bay, dub. Denver, dub. So it's a little cold for you guys. Well, together in Washington, but I don't know. The altitude, that'll get you. You'll get gassed.
Something. Clip somewhere.
Yep. And then Tampa, you'll be thrown from Denver to the Tampa humidity. Immediate L.
Yeah, thrown out of the stadium.
They'll fire you out of those cannons right out of the stadium. At Carolina, Nori, I got you on this one. L. Versus Seattle, DK Metcalf will put up 250 yards on you guys.
And about 6.5 touchdowns.
immediate L, and he'll sit in the fourth quarter doing it all. Las Vegas, you guys will beat them on December 5th in their dome. Dallas, you guys will beat them. Philly, of course, I have you guys beating them. At Dallas, you guys will lose that one. You'll have to split. I'm sorry. The Eagles, you'll also lose that one. You'll have to split. I'm sorry. Giants, you guys will lose that one. You'll have to split. I'm sorry. So I have you guys going grand total of 7-10, which is not. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not horrible.
I think for the most part, we have almost.
Yeah, I think
the rankings about the same almost for
right. Shaq still has the Cowboys winning the division. The Giants coming in second.
Like you also have the Dallas winning the division.
Right.
I have their wild card or their second place person. I wouldn't say wild card. Second place. First loser.
If somebody goes 8-9 and makes a wild card, something has gone wrong.
I mean, the fact that anybody's division made something, the math has gone wrong. It's like, stop it, y'all. Y'all robbing somebody. There's somebody in the division who's gonna have a positive record.
Who loses out?
Who loses out generally because this whole division exists.
They're just gonna be sitting there shaking their head.
He's like, this whole division needs to be like
relegated.
We're gonna go ahead and distribute 4 teams in the NFL amongst the rest of the league.
I'm gonna shoot you guys to the SEC or the ACC college ball.
Can you imagine Ezekiel just?
We're sending you back to Ohio State, actually. So good luck. Postseason predictions. So we both have the Cowboys making the playoffs. Obviously, nobody else from this division is making the playoffs. Yeah. So how far do you think that the Cowboys will go?
One and done.
Yeah.
Very first team they run into, and they realize, oh shit, this is the playoffs.
Okay, so you don't even have them winning the first round. You think they get bounced in the first round?
First game in postseason. Very first game, first team they bump into that is halfway competent and actually been to the playoff more than one time in the past. Like, when's the last time you saw Dallas in the postseason?
A couple of years ago.
Exactly.
You hear that, Dallas fans? That's where Shaq has y'all ending up.
I mean, I give y'all this. Y'all made postseason. Yeah. What more do y'all want from me? Y'all winning it? Literally, Tom Brady and the rest of the whole thing would have to shatter their knees in some freak walking off the field accident for y'all to.
That's a solid pick because I haven't doing the same exact thing.
Yes, thank you.
Dallas, you guys will make the playoffs by default, and that is exactly it. That's it. You will make the playoffs, and you will go no further.
Yes.
Because that is what y'all do. That's what everybody from your division does.
That is the best favor to happen to y'all, to get clapped up in the first round. Because last thing you want is make second round to face even a more competent team
and really get exposed.
Ever forbid he bursts like Kansas City at some point in time during this. Again in postseason, so Mahomes could throw up 680 yards passing, 7.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, even if they were to play the Chiefs, that means it would be in the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, that, but stop. Like I said,
yeah, they'll get to there. And to Dallas, that'll be like they did win the Super Bowl, and then we'll get bounced out, and then we'll be like, we missed it, like as if they came so close to winning something.
like I said at the beginning of the statement, the tallest.
You're this close. Next year we'll make the playoffs, and then stop them right there because you will never make the playoffs 2 times in a row because that's not how you do things.
They're all going to take turns each year making the playoffs. Last year was Washington. This year's going to be Dallas.
Next year it'll be maybe the Giants.
Next year will be the Eagles, and then the cycle restarts again back to Washington.
Stupid. But again, that division, you guys are a little special, delirious. You live in your own world. You'll have your day. You better hope that you make if the Cowboys do not make the playoffs this year with that roster,
They don't deserve it.
There needs to be a revolt in the city of Dallas.
They need to just start from scratch. So,
They need to lead an angry mob to Jerry Jones's office and pick him up and throw him out the 28th floor, wherever he's at.
yes. Waste of money all city spending for what?
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna kick it to a break, and when we come back, we've got a little bit of news, some social media stuff to get to, and yeah, we'll be back. If you were starting a team right now, would you pick him as your starting point guard?
Yes.
Oh, I'm still taking Steph. I'm sorry.
No.
You think Russell Westbrook is a better
Yes.
point guard?
An all around better point guard.
How many rings does Russell Westbrook have?
How many rings does Steph have?
3.
I'm still taking.
Kevin Durant left this man because he said, "I can't win with you. I gotta go join somebody who can."
And then he left Steph again.
Well, I mean, it's Kevin Durant.
Yes.
But at the same time, since he's left, what has Russell Westbrook done?
You make a powerhouse team around Steph Curry. That man had help.
Before that, he had him. It was him, Draymond, and Clay.
Which is still a lot more than Westbrook had.
He had Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka.
You try to play with James Harden.
If a game is on the line, the last person on my list is Russell Westbrook because that shit is hard off the glass every single time. What are you saying right now, Ryan Brown? Is a beast. Yeah, he is a beast. That doesn't mean he's better than Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Some do say that they think the coaching is the problem with that team, but I mean, maybe if you give him a great coach, maybe they'll hop up to like the 8th seed at best. You know, maybe they'll jump up 2 places or so, but nothing crazy.
Can't coach non-talent.
That's also true, man.
This is some of a Disney movie where the Airbud comes and saves them from.
They do have a very interesting roster. I will say that.
Not just people like to talk. Mike Tomlin is probably the best thing to happen. One of the best things that happened to that team when it comes to coaching. Which other coach would you know would have tolerated all that? Think about it. Picture coaching Antonio Brown for more than one season at a time, and then picture coaching Juju on the same exact. My thing is like no other coach would have tolerated. You know, damn well this man is cussing them out in the locker room every game,
Screaming at him.
using all types of language, just screaming at him in the locker room to act right. You know, this man do nightly call-ins. You home? All right, you got a game tomorrow.
Right. He's a high school coach. He's got to call the night before. Hey, remember, we got to be at the airport. All right, 9 a.m.
Is that club music in the background? Boy, you know what's
Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore, 2 of them are in the process of buying the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards was asked about what he thinks about A-Rod now owning the team, and apparently he did not know who Alex Rodriguez even was. Very strange coming from him, who apparently played baseball for a big chunk of his life, and he's trying to convince people that he doesn't know. Okay, like really? Not really.
Still playing games.
Jesus.
Got low-key got distance, man. We don't tell him.
I don't see your name on this checkbook.
What payroll?
Apparently they'll take full control come 2023, and they will also own the WNBA counterpart, the Minnesota Lynx, as well.
I feel like this Browns team has a different vibe, a more successful vibe than what you've seen in the past from them.
Nah, I think they're still the same Browns team out there every year. I think they're nameless great faces. The Browns is the Browns. I'm just happy we're playing them again. You know, there's Sunday. I'm just happy we're playing them again. You know. The Browns is the Browns. I'm just happy we're playing them again. You know, this Sunday. The Browns is the Browns.
Get him out of here, John! The Browns don't beat the Browns! The Browns don't beat the Browns!
And I'ma need that $40 even if I gotta fuck, suck, and swallow. Hit the parking lot 'cause I was
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mr. Fredrickson. You ready to go?
Ready as I'll ever be. I'll meet you at the van in just a minute. I want to say one last goodbye to the old place.
Sure. Take all the time you need. Probably going to the bathroom for the 80th time.
Hast du etwas Zeit für mich? Singe ich ein Lied für dich von 99 Luftballons auf ihrem Weg zum Horizont. Denkst du vielleicht grad an mich?
So long, boys! I'll send you a postcard from
China.
99 Luftballons und dass sowas von sowas kommt.
Nobody panic. The good news is they can't fire all of us, right? They can.
Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed a wonderful little break. Got your bathroom, your snack, put your kids to bed. Babe, I don't know what y'all do on your break, but you enjoy it.
Shaq needs his own break for a moment. Folks, we hope you had a great break. Shaq just needs to gather himself, and he'll be back in just a moment here. But anyway, this is why you should not drink, folks. Kids especially, don't drink. Don't have kids. Don't do drugs. The whole 9 yards.
I swallowed spit. I almost died.
The amount that can happen in 5 minutes away is crazy, folks. But anyway.
All right, I'm back. Don't forget to follow us on IG. On TikTok. Don't forget to actually watch this, because if you're not watching this, you missed all of that to see what's going on.
Yes, if you were listening, you were just like, what the hell's going on right now?
Yes.
If you were watching, though, you'd have a little more context.
You almost watched me die a little bit. Oh. God bless me.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I know. It's a weak moment. I promise you I'm better than this.
Yeah, we're going to hit our little bit of news and then some poll results and comments. So biggest news, this happened I think the day after we recorded last. NCAA finally allowing athletes to profit off their own name, image, and likeness. Excuse me. Yeah, this was a long time coming. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen or what the deal was, or if they're just going to get paid outright. But yeah, players can finally profit off of their own brand, basically. So they want to take up a deal with McDonald's or with a local car dealership, whatever it might be. Even if they're a collegiate athlete, they can finally make their own money now, and they don't have to be held down under the NCAA's thumb. with not being able to profit off of their own damn likeness, which is always the craziest thing to me. But yeah, I think it is a huge win for collegiate athletes. Big win for folks that are finally allowed to legally make money, which is the strangest thing as to why that even was a thing. But yeah, that opens doors to a whole slew of other issues in a sense. Like, let's just go retrospectively, like in old collegiate players, are they now able to go back and have old like awards that were taken away from them reinstated, like the Fab Five from Michigan? Were they able to go back and get some of those banners put back in? Again, I think a lot of those questions will probably have to answer later down the road, but in the immediate thing right now, it is cool to see that, you know, collegiate athletes are able to get paid on their own if they want. So I do think it's good that it kind of goes around the issue of should the schools have to pay them. It's just kind of like, all right, forget that. If you want to go make your own money, you're finally allowed to go do that, which I think will take the heat off of should collegiate athletes get paid. Now it's like they can sort of. It's like, you know, they kind of work for themselves now, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like, right, if you ever played like those NCAA college football games,
right?
How they take the names off the back of the jersey. You just got this very vague team from LSU or whatever.
I wonder who's the quarterback at number 1 for FSU.
Yeah, it's one of those weird aspects. Like, why is this like a big issue that we can't see these people's names on the back of the video game? Now you can actually give people credit, and if you play hard and you're noticeable, why shouldn't you get the credit that you deserve? Because
I do want to raise the question, play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Do you think it will curve some of the players' drive if, let's say, they're getting a huge deal from McDonald's, a huge deal from whoever, Nike, and they're making a bunch of money? Do you think it will make them less driven to try and make it to the pros when they're like, you know, a 20-year-old kid is like, I'm making all this money right now. I got this check from Nike. I don't need, if I make it to the pros, I make it. If I don't, I don't. Do you think it will make kids less driven?
I mean, I see one aspect of people being like getting the taste of doing it. It's like, shoot, I'm only in college for 4 years and this seems great. Why wouldn't I make sure I play hard to get more this year's gonna come? But I also see it as an aspect of people focus less on football and more about making it like a personality type thing. Maybe if I stand out more as a personality, be that Antonio Brown type personality, be more noticeable because of how I am on the field.
Right,
or
like a Juju. Like
Juju, make a big person. Yeah. Or when you go out for big plays where you do these extravagant catches, but in all reality, are you really making that much of a big impact? Those type of players who are just going out there just to get noticed so they get a sponsorship.
Yeah, I do think this will create a bit more of that, it could detract away from the game itself, but, you know, only time will tell, which I'm sure, you know, the elderly folks will have a problem with that if that's where it kind of starts to go. But you know, at the end of the day, the NFL wants talent. So even if you are screwing around doing dances or whatever, and you're big on social media, it's not necessarily going to get you to the league. So that problem, I feel like, will kind of weed itself out, and probably won't be anything big. It'll just be a few cases here and there. But yeah, regardless, very cool, very happy that that's finally a thing now, because it finally takes that should college athlete gets paid, like, that's kind of just out of the question now. Like, all right, cool. It is kind of funny though that there could be you know, a coach who's, you know, coaches at whatever Texas Tech, and you got a kid there who's a star and he's getting more in endorsements than the coach is making.
I'll be so upset. Not to be petty, but like, you're coaching this kid. You know, this kid does not show up late to practice. Show up late to practices. A half-ass attempt. The first one to walk off the field, and this kid's making more money than I am.
Right.
I was like,
I do think that could maybe make an issue when it's like, you know, the kid, again, they're kids. Like, they're 19, 20 years old, and now they're making possibly millions of dollars. And now when you're 20 years old, you think you're the man now, and feel like they don't have to respect the coach anymore, and they can just kind of do whatever they want. The coach is just...
Yes, I see it as I am a 45 or like 30-something-year-old man trying to coach this 19-year-old kid, and this kid is making
more money than he knows what to
more
do
than
with.
6 figures a year because of what? His extravagant personality?
Exactly, right. Could cause some rifts there. But hey, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, at the end of the day, they are the coach. The coach is, all right, when I act like that, you weren't even playing this next 3 weeks, so go right ahead. So we'll see how that pans out. In other news, the Cowboys will be featured in this year's Hard Knocks for HBO. Speaking of the NFC least, good old Cowgirls will be there for the first time in a long time. I've just heard the requirements to get onto Hard Knocks. I don't remember them all, but there's quite a few hurdles. Like, you can't have made the playoffs in a certain amount of years. You couldn't have already been on the show in like the last 8 to 10 seasons. I forgot what it was like, but for a very long time, you couldn't have been on the show already. But hey, the Cowboys checked off all the boxes of being that bad that they could be on the show. So here they are. Yeah, so come this August, when Hard Knocks starts up on HBO, Cowboys will be there front and center. Shaq, any thoughts on watching the Cowgirls on TV?
Other than the fact that they have been bad these past couple of seasons, so that's not a surprise. It's neither here nor there, so reap the rewards of your failure. There we go.
This is, to me, it's such a Cowboys thing. Here they go again, getting something positive comes out of them being so bad. Like,
nobody else appreciates them.
Yep.
So here we go, appreciating them for it.
They will be in the headlines once again, even though they didn't do a damn thing. Just right up their alley. I do think they will make a great Hard Knocks season. Like, they have a bunch of personalities on that team, starting at the owner. Jerry Jones will make for great TV. Probably see no shortage of him. We'll probably see a good bit of Dak. Zeke seems like he'd probably make for a pretty good.
Dak seems ideal for television.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch, the Wolf Hunter. Like, he'll be. I do feel like they have a good gang that will make a very entertaining Hard Knocks. Probably the best one in. I thought the Browns a few years ago they had a really, really good one. I think they'll probably be the best since the Browns. Last year's was the Chargers. I don't even think I watched that one because I asked somebody about the first episode and they were like, "Oh, it was just all about their response to COVID." And I was like, "All right, I'm not trying to watch that." And so that was just that was.
I mean, I know our response to COVID, and then nothing more interesting than Florida's response to COVID. So
yeah, so I didn't watch the Chargers, but I did watch the Raiders and the Browns the year before that. So Cowboys, I think they're lined up to have the best one in a long time because they got plenty of personality on that team. Moving right along to some poll results. I'm going to update this because it was 24 hours ago. But who wins the finals? We posted this on our Instagram story yesterday. 4 of you said the Suns. 1 poor soul said the Bucks. We'll see what happens with that. We have a little while to go before we actually find out.
That hard Bucks fan. We appreciate you though for voting.
Yeah, right. You took the high road. Did not care about your embarrassment on that one. All right, we're going to check the poll results for Game 1. So I asked on TikTok who was going to win Game 1. And one moment, please. All right, 74 of you guys said the Suns were going to win Game 1. A good portion of you, I know, voted after Game 1 was over, so kind of cheated, bastards. Yeah. 19 of you said the Bucks, but even before that, it was like 41-14 Suns. So
statistically saying, there's probably a good portion of you that said the Bucks after they had lost the game, because some of y'all.
You're right. That does show that a few of y'all, even after they lost, went down with the ship. Strange, but hey, it's
strange behavior. But we go ahead and condone that.
Even if you have the answers to the test, you still get it wrong. But whatever. So that shows where you guys stand. If you want to vote in the next poll, just follow, like Jack said, follow us on TikTok, Instagram. It's both the same at AFR Sports. You get to vote and leave us comments. I'm going to jump into TikTok comments real quick. See what people are saying. So from last week, trying to pick a random one. All right, so last week we broke down the NFC West. Somebody said that the Niners will go 10-6. That came from Austin Bat.
Who's on the schedule for them to go 10-6? They playing the NFC East over and over again throughout the season.
I know we both picked them to be historically bad.
Yes, most of our voting has gone against the 49ers.
I said they would be 6-11. Shaq said they'd be 8-9. And this person, Austin Bet, is saying they'd be 10-6. 49. I mean, he's obviously a 49er fan, so a little bit of bias there is probably influencing his decision. We had a Rams fan, Ryan, says that the Rams will beat the Seahawks easily. I agree with you. I don't know about the easily part. I do think that LA has a better team overall. And I think I said that they would sweep the Seahawks. So there's that. Easily, though, I don't know. I think they'll both be very good games that will come down to the wire. So, yeah, if you want to follow us on TikTok, weigh in on the ongoing conversation, it is at AFR Sports. I think that will do it for that'll do it for the news and the social media portion of this show. So, moving into the next topic of the week. It's going to be a really long episode, folks, so I hope you used the bathroom during that break.
We did have a break, so you got no excuse.
Now you're strapped in.
Yep.
Rachel Nichols, this is a doozy, folks. Rachel Nichols was removed from reporting the NBA Finals obviously this Finals. So this is a bit of tea, folks. Usually we don't really cover stuff that happens off the field or off the court, but
the team moment.
This was very surprising to me because this was something that's been going on for the past over a year now and just has started to come to light a bit more and more now. So I'll try my best to outline this. This is going to be kind of long-winded, but I'm going to try my best to summarize this to catch people up to what's going on with this situation. So for those of you that don't know Rachel Nichols, you probably know her. You just maybe don't know her name, but works for ESPN. She hosts The Jump. She has for the past 5 years now. But yeah, she also is like a sideline reporter for ESPN, and you can see her on ESPN or NBA Countdown. So she's all around ESPN's basketball shows. But yeah, she's worked for ESPN for a pretty long time. I'd say at least 10 years or so. I've seen her on TV for a while now. But yeah, she apparently in her contract at some point, don't know the logistics or the details, but at some point she was supposed to take over the hosting job for NBA Countdown. Now keep that in mind. Then there's also Maria Taylor, who has started working for ESPN. I'm not exactly sure when, but after Nichols got there. So more of the new kid on the block for Maria Taylor. But yeah, she, former player, obviously knows a lot about basketball. They both do, but Maria obviously knows a bit more being a former player. Rachel Nichols, white. Maria Taylor, black. Yeah, but Maria Taylor has been in the spotlight a lot more recently over the past year or two. If we go to last summer, prior to this, Maria Taylor was, you could see her on usually like sideline reporting for NBA games and whatnot. But if we go to last summer, the George Floyd stuff happens, and then ESPN basically takes Maria Taylor and says, come on to NBA Countdown that night and, speak as a black woman, speak to the issue that's going on right now. She does a great job. The bubble happens. The NBA bubble happens, and ESPN says, basically, from the bubble starting, hey, Maria Taylor, you're now going to be the host of NBA Countdown going forward. Now, if you take what I just said prior, that Rachel Nichols was supposed to have that job, obviously she was not very happy to not have the job that she was promised in her contract. So she was already in the bubble, staying at a hotel, and she does different content from within her hotel room from a camera. Apparently, she didn't know that the camera was still on and was having a private conversation with I don't remember the dude's name, but he's like an advisor to the Lakers. She was having a conversation with him and basically was venting about the situation and saying, like, this is another example of ESPN mishandling a gender situation, a racial situation, and they're just trying to play cleanup. And that's, Maria's great at her job, but at the end of the day, I'm paraphrasing here, at the end of the day, she only got the job because she was black. And unfortunately, didn't know the camera was on, and that goes straight back to ESPN's headquarters. Somebody from ESPN leaked it, and it got out, and that whole thing. Maria Taylor obviously catches word of this and basically says she doesn't want to be involved with Rachel Nichols anymore, and that was kind of that. So then this NBA season, ESPN has done this dance, which I always thought was kind of odd, but I didn't know up until just a couple of days ago why they were doing this. You would see Rachel Nichols hosting ESPN Countdown occasionally, but usually it was Maria Taylor with like Jalen Rose, and then you would see Rachel Nichols sideline reporting from time to time. And it was always this like rotation of like so-and-so's hosting, she's hosting, they're not hosting. And it was just, you never saw the two of them on TV at the same time or in the same place. I didn't think anything of this at any point, that there was some drama going on.
Until now.
Right. I just assumed it was just how scheduling or whatever. But that is why that's what's been going on. So yeah, so now here we are. All of this has come out to the public, even though it happened a year ago, and now they're keeping Maria Taylor as the host as of right now for NBA Countdown. And Rachel Nichols, she's still hosting The Jump, but she's not hosting NBA Countdown as she should be, which has obviously caused headlines as to why that is. But ironic part about all this, Maria Taylor's contract ends soon, like within a couple days. So she has the option of signing a new one or leaving or doing whatever. But with all that being said, what were your thoughts on this, Shaq?
My thoughts about this is that as much as it sucks, because I definitely think that people, when it comes down to jobs, people who is best fit or best qualified for the job should get it. And unfortunately, that doesn't always happen per se. There's a reason the term token is a thing that has come place, whereas unfortunately, in the black community, certain people get hired for a job to be that token person. Or not saying that she's not qualified for the job. Both of them are very much qualified for the job.
Amen.
Very competent, both of them, to do this job. But unfortunately, with the way society's set up, there's, of course, a group of people who's disassociated about how the real world works and be like, well, we want to seem a little bit more diverse. We're going to go ahead and slide homegirl. Completely not looking at details and what's going on and just sliding people this and that just to have the whole better image look better. So
who would you put the blame on in this situation?
I'd put that just ESPN, a corporation. I put it on them. At the end of the day, I feel like, she may have messed up, but then there's still a personal conversation. But like, she had messed up for leaving her camera on and having another personal conversation with somebody else who's in the industry,
right? And
like sharing your opinion, it kind of gives you true colors type of thing. But at the end of the day, it's the industry who's making these moves. But at the end of the day, both of these young ladies deserve the job. Both of them are very equipped and knowledgeable about what's going on. So I can't say one person deserves it more than the other. They both.
Right.
Would I necessarily keep the job after somebody says I'm only getting the job because I'm black? No, I'm gonna leave. Especially if I have opportunities elsewhere, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave. Make it simple for everybody involved.
Right. I'll make this really easy. I'll leave.
I'll leave. Yeah, I got opportunities elsewhere. I'm gonna go ahead and just migrate to different places.
which she probably could do. I'm sure Fox would gladly take her as some sort of an NBA personality. But I 1,000% agree. I have seen some people within the black community already screaming cancel Rachel Nichols and all X, Y, and Z. And to me, I put the blame on ESPN. I don't think it's much of Rachel Nichols' fault. I mean, because at the end of the day, we can sit here and hee-haw and go back and forth and pretend that what she was saying was racist or out of bounds. I really didn't have a problem with anything because it was recorded, so you can go listen to the audio if you wanted to, which I did. It was pretty short. I didn't find anything that she said really out of bounds. No, it was really just the truth of what she was.
Yes, society has been built like that for years.
Yes,
that so and so could get the job. Unfortunately, because there's a quota for women in this job, for black males, black women that they need to fill to make sure they're not.
They appear that they're diverse and accepting of everybody.
We as a black community very much know that, but for some reason we don't like hearing it from other people.
Right. If a white person were to say that, it comes off
racist, but like deep down in our head we know.
Right. To me, it's like, I mean, are we gonna really sit here and honestly say that ESPN handles these situations correctly? They have a track record, like she said in that call. Like this is just them trying to correct their history of mismanaging their diversity problems. Again, is it coincidental that they suddenly gave Maria Taylor the job of hosting right after George Floyd goes on?
No, they want to be more connected to their audience. And
right. They knew that this is the best time to put her in there. And it's kind of like, if you really, and I do think they honestly do think that she was the best person for the job now, later, whenever. But if you know that you have somebody that you told contractually this is going to be your job, you should probably let them know, hey, Maria, you'll get the job. Like, we want you to have this. Right now, Rachel's in line to have it. We like you. We want to keep you around. I'm going to give you more roles around the network. Once Rachel is done with the gig, if you still want to be here, you'll be second in line for this hosting job. I don't understand why they just couldn't have told her that straight up.
Yes, honesty is always the best key for employees. I'm sure she'd have been like, cool, whatever, I'll take that. Yeah. She's still getting paid. She still has a job. She's still being out there and seen.
Right. That just shows to her, you guys will keep your word. Because if you did tell Rachel that, cool, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, she is the best, if you've already told her that, cool, and that shows me when it's my time, you'll do the same for me and give me my opportunity.
Because what that shows me is, if you're willing to step on her toes to give me the opportunity and chance, you're willing to step on my toes again to give somebody else behind me a chance to do this job. So it's like, if you're not truthful to somebody else about something, I don't expect you to give me the same type of treatment.
Yeah, exactly. And Rachel Nichols, her comments, I guess you could kind of say they were a little insensitive towards Maria. Like, she did preface them by saying, Maria's great. She's outstanding at what she does. And then she went on to say, she only got it because she was black. A little insensitive, but not really when it was a private conversation. It wasn't like this was some public thing that she was assuming it was just her and somebody else that had nothing to do with anything. And we've heard a lot worse from private conversations.
Yes, let's be honest, folks. How many times have you talked to somebody in private and said some iffy, sketchy things that you wouldn't say?
Right, because you're assuming to their face, is off the record.
Yeah, to that person's face or to in public. I know a lot of you gotta be like, "Oh, say anything to anybody's face," whatever. It's like, well,
let's be real.
Let's be real here. You filter in regular day-to-day life. A lot of 99% of people filter themselves a lot because they don't want to have to really deal with the consequences of being 100% unfiltered,
right,
and everything. So it's like, yes, everybody that even you filter yourself to a degree.
Yeah, that's how life works. Like, you kind of have to.
That's part of being an adult, unfortunately, is filtering yourself and knowing that not everything that comes to your mind
needs to be said.
But unfortunately, in private conversation, when you think there's no repercussions for your actions, you will say any and everything that comes to your mind.
Right,
so.
and that's the funny thing. Like, there was nothing that I looked at that from what was snipped from there that was like nasty or rude. Like it was like for a private conversation, she kept it pretty PC.
Yeah. It's not like she was dropping the N-bomb or she's
Right.
dogging her out, calling her. No, she kept it pretty.
It was pretty real.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else I can call it but just real. Like she gave Maria her props at the same time. It was like, I mean, let's not lie. This is what ESPN's really doing is because she's black. Like we know that they don't give a damn about her. Actually, it's just the fact that it's 2021, and putting a black woman as a host of a show would look really good for our network.
Yeah,
right
it's unfortunately with today's era with a lot of black like injustice and things people talking about like black rights and everything. Basketball being like a predominantly black sport, and they need a foreface that is black, and you put a black female, but you don't see a lot of it. Kind of helps even more, bringing a more different community of people maybe to watch this stuff. So
in ESPN, I've kind of detracted from them over the past couple of years. Obviously, outside of the games, there's nothing I can really do about that. But I don't really watch much of their shows anymore. Like I still like Stephen A. a little bit of First Take. From time to time, I'll watch some of that, but for the most part, I like FS1 shows a lot more. It just seems a bit more genuine, a bit more diverse, which is, kind of odd. But, yeah, it's still strange to me that ESPN seems to lack so many, as big as they are. You can go through their shows. Outside of Stephen A. Smith, they don't really have a whole lot of primarily black hosts or just any person of color. Like, it just kind of seems to be the same old, but with Fox it seems to be a much more mixed bag.
And unfortunately, I have to put my personal things. There's a lot of shows where black hosts, black like critics or like main characters are a lack per se that you see, and it's kind of like. And even when they do put a black person on there, it's for entertainment value more than anything else.
Right. They're just there as the guest or the temporary co-host, and they're just there to say something funny.
Yeah, think of things outside of sport. America's Got Talent. Who's the African American unfortunately there? The host who's there to tell the jokes or be the personality. Nick Cannon, and when you got people like that, it's like it's.
Right.
Yes.
That's the same model that ESPN seems to use in a lot of cases. Out like with Stephen A. Smith being the exception. Yeah, that just kind of seems like ESPN, which is why I just kind of stopped messing with them a few years ago. But anyway, yeah, I don't have Maria Taylor. I completely get why if she didn't want to work with Rachel Nichols, I got that. I understand. At the same time, though, if either one of them decided to pick up and leave, like when this by next week, like I think if the finals go past game like 5, they could have Maria Taylor hosting NBA Countdown throughout all the finals. And let's just say they go to a game 5 or 6. Her contract will be up, but she could decide, I don't want to do this anymore. See y'all, deuces, fuck y'all.
And then be a brand new person.
Right. Hey, Rachel, you want to come back in here?
And unfortunately, as we all know the drama, we would all clearly know why she's on this show.
Right.
And it's kind of like me as the other person, I would leave too, because kind of like everybody out there knows why you got your job.
Yeah, right.
Because the other person quit and left.
Right.
And you too busy with a certain Heat player to.
There is that other side of the story. Speaking of the bubble, apparently after an interview with Jimmy Butler, there was a security guard that was reported to have heard Rachel Nichols and Jimmy Butler within the same room getting down, and that has remained a rumor for the past year or so, and this story has seemed to amplify that.
Here's my thing. It's not that her personality and character I'm questioning, is I see Jimmy Butler as
agreed, 100%.
Jimmy Butler as that type of person. Like you watch that one interview. I don't know if you ever watched that in one interview where he's talking to her. You see a smirk on his face. We could bring a race again. And me as a African American seeing another African American smirk, I know that look. only because I give it that look. There's some sort of prior interaction that has pretense to it, like
beyond professional life.
Yes, we have talked off the record ourselves, and
let's remember they're in the bubble. Remember, folks, they couldn't have any people come in, nobody go out.
We all know where each other's rooms are. We're all staying with a certain amount of hotels, so it's kind of like
after practice ends, not much to do.
There's apparently a lot to do, but like.
So I mean, there's that arc to the story, but
that's just my thing.
I mean, personally, do I think that happened?
Yes,
probably.
Yeah, I'm about 90%
stuck there.
Yes, my thing is I'm about 90% sure it happened. Will any of them actually admit it in their interview or like anything? No, for the sake of
keeping their damn position.
Especially since she's already in like a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Our brothers are gonna be brothers, and brothers are gonna be brothers. Like I ain't gonna say nothing. Right. It's like me and the people that need to know. No, so
yeah, but bigger picture. If Rachel, I think both of them just decide to leave. Just be like, fuck it, I'm out of here. If Nichols can, I don't know what her situation is, but if she can, sure. Because at this point, if she does stay, like let's just say Maria Taylor leaves and she stays, it would just be kind of weird knowing the backstory. Like it just wouldn't look too good for her to stay. And then same thing, like Maria Taylor said straight up, like. She's had all of these issues at ESPN, a slew of these issues, simply for being a black woman. Like, if you would just make her white, she would have none of these issues at ESPN. But because she's black, she's had just issue after issue after issue after issue. So for her to leave makes complete sense.
Yes, and the fact that, based off of what she's saying in her stories, the fact that she hit this, like, probably what is one of the highs of that you could possibly get as a person who's doing like in that position,
reporting, broadcasting,
and then you hit there and then this boom controversy hits and people are making you feel bad for having this position and things are going on. It shows another battle that you have to go through. It's like, all right, I hit a position that I want, but I can't necessarily take it because now I gotta feel some type of way for having this position.
Right.
So that's another battle she has to go through.
Yeah, straight up just for being her.
Yeah, it's just for working hard and probably being where she's at now.
Right. Yeah, I think that'll do it for that story. We do have a fourth story, but we've been going for damn near 2 hours now, a little over an hour and a half. I'm thinking we should save that for next week because it's our top 5 running backs in the NFL. It's not going anywhere for a while, so it's not like new or anything like that. But I say we just call it a wrap here.
I'm down for that.
If you guys really want to find out our top 5 running backs, come back next week. We will talk about it then. Have a new segment to the show coming probably next week.
God bless. If you don't want to see more of what just happened earlier after the break, that segment will be definitely
It involves a little bit of these right here.
I was about to say I lost track of my cup press. Yes,
folks, as we round into the dry season for NBA and NFL, we're gonna start making our own
replenishing the dry wood.
Right, coming in with some old liquid.
Yep.
So come back next week for our top 5 running backs and probably this new segment, unless a bunch of bombshells go off and there's a ton of news for us to talk about. In the slower season, we're going to come up with some new stuff to do for you guys. So that will do it. Shaq, anything else you want to mention before we get the hell up out of here?
Peace and love. Y'all don't be out here slandering people's names on...
Yes. Please stop. Don't come out here and cancel Rachel Nichols, cancel Maria. If you want to cancel somebody, cancel ESPN.
Yeah, my thing is always act like people are watching. Always talk like
that is also
somebody's. Let's pretend it's your mother or Jesus sitting there or whoever you believe is watching you. If you don't want to, if you can't say that stuff in front of a public audience,
don't say
it.
Yeah. That's really simple. If you don't got anything nice to say, probably shouldn't say it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it for this week, folks. We will see you next week. I believe we will be live from Bay Canyon Brewery next week, so look out for that. Yeah, follow us on Twitter. Not on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We are not on Twitter. At AFR Sports. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you all next week. Peace.
Peace.